Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video I'm going to be claiming Telltale's Marlon and Rosie as an S-class character. They are the reward for the event that is ongoing currently. The event still has a few weeks to go. The easiest part of that event was getting the character, and then the second part of that event was obviously to get the upgrade items needed to tier up Marlon and Rosie. So I, like most of you, probably have hit 800,000 in level ups consistently, trying to hit that 5,000 dog paw pins bonus reward effectively. There were a couple of other tiers that were pretty decent. I think it was up to 1.75 million in level up seemed to be the way to go. And I've got enough. I got enough actually last Friday, but I didn't want to release this during War of Champions. I wanted to wait for a fresh week. And I wanted to give people time because I don't think people would have leveled him up too quickly for War, especially just at the weekend. Maybe just slam in a defense team or something, but I think there are good ways to build this character. In the future, we can check him out, how he's going to work on a defense team in terms of gameplay, because we will have a system where we can duel our own defense teams, and that means I could show you defense team stuff from my own builds. But today we're going to be going through a bit more how he would work on an attack team, which I'd say is probably the worst part of him. He's probably not an attack team character. He'll fill a slot. He'll do some damage and he'll be tanky, but he's generally speaking going to be a much better defense team character just because S-class characters are much more useful on defense teams, and he'll definitely fill a slot until you get a much more powerful character in that position. If you're putting a 6-star instead in that, well, they're generally going to get one shot with a basic attack. So we are going to claim Marlon and Rosie. I can hit claim all and it'll do it both at the same time. I'll also get my daily rewards as well. So I'll get the last 4,000 cards required. All I have to get now are these leashes, and I can claim the bandanas in the museum. However, I did get fortunate on this particular region because I did already have 1,700 leashes from a previous event. You know, there was obviously an issue with this event, but my other region, not so fortunate. I didn't have any dog leashes on that region, and I'm going to have to grind out to 100k. Will I get there? I don't know. Maybe. We've still got 21 days left. I'm at around the same point on my other region, about 40k, so I should be okay. I just don't want to be in a position where I can't tier 4 Marlon and Rosie. That would suck a lot. So we're going to back out of here. We should have the pop-up to claim Marlon and Rosie. There we go. And here we go, 10,000 collectibles. Very easy. Very easy to get the 10,000 here. 25,000 dog paw pins is not too difficult. I think you had to hit 800,000 and level up like 3 or 4 times. There he is. Lovely jubbly. And the good girl herself. He is a strong character. He will be tiered up and eventually he'll look like this visually. So he'll be wearing that Ericsson jacket. And I'm just going to level him up to maxed out as tier 1 and probably just put him into tier 2. But I won't level him at all in tier 2. And we'll see what he looks like at tier 2, but also I'll start modding him out. So he's here now maxed out as a tier 1. I have maxed out his rush. I've also maxed out his active. It is very important to max out that active because that's where he's going to get a lot of his attack stat from. And we're just going to upgrade him. I'll show you the visuals. And he will get a shirt. He will get a shirt. Let's see what he looks like at the next tier. Does it show? I guess this is where he gets the jacket. You can sort of see it darkened on the right hand side, and that's when he gets the jacket. And it is confirmed it is going to be 3 bandanas for the first tier, 7 for the second tier, and then 12 for the last tier. Kind of exactly the same how it works with survival road characters. And we'll move on to his mods, and I think the best way to mod Marlon and Rosie is to go with a bit of a setup towards a defense team to give him some survivability. You can still use him on an attack team with this just because his active gives him such a big attack boost. 150% attack is mental. Where on defense team, he's going to need to have that survivability just to not get absolutely destroyed. He's going to generally be a target anyway because he doesn't have anything on defense. He's got a double attack weapon. Even if you did try and 5-star his weapon and give him a good weapon, generally you're going to go stun on attack. So he's generally always going to be a window. So if you look at his stat balance, he has got a little bit less defense than HP if we want to make him a bit more defensive. This is only tier 2. When he's maxed out with vet rings, he's going to have a lot more stats obviously, but even right now we can see that his defense is a bit lower than his HP, so we're going to give him a defense set just to boost that by 650, and they should be around the same at that point. And then the other mods, I'm not going to go with HP or defense on the other mods, but we'll just check out the ideas that I've got here. So we'll start with the defense versus an attack versus slot. And here you have to decide if you're going to use him on an attack team, what kind of teams you're going to use him against. I'd probably mainly use him against a melee team because he's not going to be very good against the sort of meta defense teams where it's like Pete and stuff. But I am seeing a big bump in the amount of teams I'm seeing with Lao Po as the leader. So he wouldn't be too bad against teams like that. You could either double down on the damage with attack versus fast. I don't think he necessarily will need extra attack just because of that active is so good. He could go with a boost against strong here. You could decide to go for a boost against strong. Now, if you wanted to mainly use this guy on a defense team, you'd want to obviously go with defense against alert. You want to go with as good a mod as you can get, but just because he's going to be taking tons of damage from alert characters. Now, the bottom right hand corner I would say is generally best to go stun resist, especially if you are going to use him against the melee teams. A lot of strong characters on defense teams will always have stun on attack. So I'll put stun resist in the bottom right hand corner. Now with the auxiliary slot, you can try and increase his attack output in terms of bleed, burn. You could try and make him a bit more of a crit character, and I think that's the way I'm going to go on this test, in terms of trying to build him for crit to try and utilize his basic attacks a little bit better, especially coming up against some 6-star characters on defense teams. He's going to do a lot of damage against these fast characters, and I think, I don't know about you guys, but out of every single type of trait that you see, I think we're seeing more 6-star characters on defense teams that are fast than any other trait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with crit multiplier. That means when he hits a critical attack, it will do more damage. Because he's got a double attack weapon, that's going to be really good because he's going to do even more damage because of that. But now I do need a crit stat mod, so I will need to have a defense set crit stat mod. Fortunately, I have a few just to increase his likeliness of hitting those crits. So I only have a 36 crit chance mods available, so I'm just going to sit that in there. He will have 46 crit now because he has got 10 base crit, just like every other character. So generally speaking, when it comes to the wildcard slot, something I like to do is just apply the mods that I have currently and just exit and go back into the character just to kind of see where we're sitting in terms of his overall like build, how much defense he's got, what do I think he's missing. If I click on management in the right hand corner, you can see that it gives me a bigger breakdown on the sort of bonuses he's getting, what I think he's missing here, and I'm not actually quite sure at the moment. I think I could go for maybe a bit more attack if I wanted to make him more offensive, but being on a defense team, I probably want to give him something more defensive, and you can do that with either resists or you could do that with stats. I don't think S-class characters are really having a problem with stats. However, a resist would make a bigger difference for him. So the mod I'm going to go for is actually Confuse Resist. A couple of reasons why. I actually do have a Platinum mod, Confuse Resist. I don't use Confuse Resist too often, but on a defense team, if he did get confused, he could start double attacking my own characters or 150% attack boost. Not exactly what I'd want. So he's going to be relying heavily on his active skill with this. I'm going to hit apply, and we're going to go back to my roster screen just so you can see the overall makeup that I've decided to go with. And you can see his defense is now higher than his HP. His stats are very well rounded. This is actually pretty good for a defensive character that you still want to do damage. Now when he gets put in a defense team, if you've got Lao Po as a leader, both of those defensive stats are going to get boosted again. His attack also will get boosted by his weapon, which it's not getting boosted by right now. It'll have a 30% boost, so that'll go up to at least around 4,000. When it comes to his weapon, I'd say the best thing to do with Marlon and Rosie, no matter what, is just increase his base weapon to 40% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking on the middle slot. Keep the double attack, and then if you do want to use a stun on attack weapon, you should 5-star this weapon, which is obviously Rosie's head, very violent head, and you would then 5-star the stun weapon that you have, and then you'd just be able to slot it into his hands once you research that. Double attack is an off-trait special, and it is quite rare to get off-trait specials. You never know how you could be able to utilize this in the future, where it could become useful. For instance, if you think of something like Faction Assault, this guy's got a lot of single target damage, and Faction Assault is generally just one target that you've got to take down. And I think Marlon and Rosie is going to be a great Faction Assault character. So at a minimum, you could just get him out that way for the future. Another character that I get asked about a lot is Arav with his weapon, and I generally say upgrade that character's weapon as it is from the base, just because his weapon works so well in survival roads. Being able to heal up him, his teammates, it's really nice. So generally, If you do like other weapons, it's better to swap them into their hands rather than to try and spend time upgrading it with things that are a low percentage as well. You can get this up to 40% attack and a huge bonus to AP on attack quite quickly because you only need 3 crits there versus trying to go for stun on attack, which could genuinely take you like 50 tries. You can just get really unlucky. Now, in terms of the kind of team I build him into, on my other region, I have Alice, and she will work great with him. The massive attack boost he's going to get, they're going to multiply with each other on the active and stuff. It's going to be beautiful. On this region, I do have Diego, so I'll probably have Diego in my team. I'm not going to put Rampage in Priya's hands just so we can actually see how Marlon and Rosie works to a high standard. And that's going to be basically the baseline of my team is going to be these 2 characters. And then the rest are going to basically be supporting these guys or enabling them to do as much damage as possible. So I'm going to go with something like this. I did split my S-class characters up so they were in different rows, because if I do get rushed by someone like Priya on a defense team or something like that, I don't want both my S-class characters being incapacitated. So that's the best way to do it if you can. I've gone with a command purely because Marlon and Rosie is going to be a bit slow, and I just want to see what he can do. I want to get his rushes off, you know, normal turn 3 sort of situation. I'm not going to go too hard on Priya just because I could put a rampage weapon in her hands. Raids will be over much quicker. The defense down from Diego is going to be nice, and the disarms from Earl just to stop, you know, dodginess going on with weapons on defense teams. So it will be quite hard to find teams where I think he's good against, and I think some of the best teams he's going to be good against will probably be like rainbow defense teams, your Angel leads, your Andreas, where they potentially got fast characters on those defense teams, or a bit of a range of characters. You know, your free-to-play defense teams, not your whale end defense teams, which have a lot more stronger, harder hitting, tough characters and alert characters. You definitely don't want to be taking this guy in against alert teams if you can help it. So it's actually quite hard to find a team that would actually be useful for Marlon to attack. But we do find one. I've not got my Angel in this team. I normally have my Angel to counter Doc Stevens. He has got exhaust resist anyway, so there is that. But we'll see. This actually could be a good thing to see. It's decent. That's the crit mod that we had obviously equipped there. And the thing we've got as an issue now. Oh no, he should be okay. Okay, let's have a little look. Okay, I'm just gonna stun this guy. What can I do here? What can I do? I had AP again on that. I didn't realise. I think I'll just... Should I just take... I think I'll do this. It's nice and early. Okay. Kind of want to see the damage that Marlon and Rosie can do with his active. Right now he's not got his active up, so I have to active him and then command him, which I'd have to do right now anyway, because if I did a turn 2 active, I don't think he'd get enough AP. I don't think he'd get enough AP even with his weapon upgraded. Now this is going to be Priya with minus 65% defense. She's got 4.2k, so obviously she's going to be much lower than that. And this is Marlon with a huge bonus on his attack. He's going to one-shot her. And that's actually a pretty decent amount of damage. I would say you kind of have to have a defense down character to really get it going. With Marlon and Rosie, it is just a single hit, obviously, big single hits. I want to see the kind of double attack damage. I'm not going to get with the stat, unfortunately. I wanted the stat boost to be in there. Does he only get to do his active once per fight? No, it says 20 times. It's not cooling down though. Not sure what's going on there. Why is it not cooling down? Okay, it took a long time to get that extra one, so I'm not sure what was going on there. No, he's not too bad. And he will cleanse, like you see that animation, he's cleansing anything that he cleansed the exhaust before. So I'm going to do a friendly duel here against my brother's team. I did make the mistake of friendly dueling GBZ, and I completely forgot he had 100% crit on his Heng Yen, and because I just want to test out the Marlon and Rosie AP gain here, basically. So the idea would be I just would attack one character, kind of usual. Hopefully Marlon and Rosie doesn't get attacked here. That's great. So right now he would have normally 40 AP from his basic attack if he had a huge weapon, because he has got a huge leader. when he does his active, he needs to get to 61. I don't think he's going to get there. I don't think he's getting there. He's getting to 59, so it means he is kind of unusable on an attack team, I think. Unfortunately. Because the way it would work is he's got a 2-turn attack boost right now, but it's actually only 1 turn. Because it's going to run out. Like, 1 turn's going to be taken away because of this particular turn he's buffed on. So yeah, that means he's gonna have to be commanded to rush. It has to happen. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to rush at all. Like right now, he wouldn't have his rush even if he had a huge leader. So basically, in this situation, right this second, he can't rush. He can do his basic attack. He would be on. What would he be on? He'd be on 64 AP out of 66. So for him to actually be able to be used on an attack team, he'd have to have 40% AP. He's going to do a lot of damage. I mean, that was just a basic attack. That was really high. There's a non-defensive leader here, so there is that. And he's probably going to destroy Priya because of that. Her defense stats are not high, 3k. She's been massively debuffed, but based on the fact that she's, you know, got no defense and minus 65% defense. So it shouldn't be too bad in terms of the damage output that he's doing. But he had to be commanded to do that rush. And I don't think there's any way around that on an attack team. You'd have to use an 8% weapon, which is okay, I guess. You could potentially do it that way if you want. And we're just gonna rush again, just for fun. Okay. He's gonna get taunted. So a faction mate has put up a friendly defense for me just to test out how his lightning reflexes works. Basically, I'm going to defend every round and let the rushes come in. Now, the problem with this defense is it's actually really strong. Like, there's stun on attack weapons here. There's a lot of power, and they could actually hurt Marlon and Rosie, I'm going to be honest. As long as they don't stun him for the first 2 turns. Okay, we're going to have 3 rushes come in now, right? I think Negan's does an offensive rush. And we'll see lightning reflexes go off, and we'll see if he can do his double attack. That's the main thing I want to see. I want to see if the double attack happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to defend just because I don't know how much damage he's going to take. So there's 1. Okay, there's lightning reflexes. Does he do lightning reflexes more than once? He does. He does lightning reflexes multiple times. That's good to know. Okay, it didn't do any double attacks though. There were no double attacks. Whether that's just because that's how it was. He didn't get confused. Obviously, I've got confuse resist. And he wasn't getting stunned before because I've got some stun resist. I'll just heal up quickly. And then I'll let them start again. I just want to see if the double attacks... Okay, we're going to get it again. Should I defend? I'll active this time. See what sort of damage the lightning reflexes does this time around. Okay, it's not going to do double attack again. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like the weapon's proccing on the lightning reflexes, but it is happening multiple times. I haven't seen the weapon proc once. We only just need to see it happen once, basically, and we're good. We'll see. They'll get their rushes quite quickly. Yeah. I think they'll kill me this time round. Let me see. So it doesn't look like lightning reflexes makes the weapon actually happen, which is a shame. It actually makes it less powerful. Okay, we're going to test it out one more time against a different team. And we're just going to see. I mean, this is working nicely, obviously, but it wouldn't normally work like this. Did he actually get an AP bonus? Let me just double check this. I think he did. That is interesting. That is... Let me just... Okay, I rushed the... Let me try this again. Check his AP, right? He should get an early rush because of the... This is basically a first turn attack team with the commands. Watch his AP gain. Is he doing lightning reflexes and getting... I think he's getting his AP from a basic attack. Because he got 20 AP there. Yeah, he's getting AP from a basic attack. Because he's got no lead bonus. He's getting it per... Okay, I didn't realize lightning reflexes work like that. That is interesting. He does get AP from lightning reflexes per time it goes off. So now I've gone with a leader, and he should gain an extra 10 AP because Diego's a huge lead, as we know. So I'm just going to defend with both of them. Hopefully they rush him. Yeah, he gained 40 AR. He gained a bit from being attacked. But he gained, I think it was, is it 35 AR from doing a basic attack. And that's because of the lightning reflexes. Gaining AP, but not doing weapon effects. I mean, I think I've tested enough now that we can see that the weapon effects are not going off with Marlon and Rosie's rush. With his lightning reflexes. He's not getting any double attacks, and that would mean he's not going to get any stuns on attack. So that massively changes how I thought about lightning reflexes, but he does gain AP. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I would have preferred it the other way round. So all in all, when Marlon and Rosie is maxed out as an S-class character, he's going to get obviously a lot more stats. You're going to get like an 1,000 stat boost in a lot of those areas. Combat mods are going to become obviously much more effective. The weapon boost is going to boost him up to much higher attack stat. I didn't have that high attack stat on him. I think overall he had about 6,000, 7,000 attack stat. But for a tier 2 level 1 character as an S-class, it's not too bad, especially as I was making him very, very defensive. Trying to utilize the critical hits. Didn't see too much with the double attack. See, I think the thing about his active skill and the double attack weapon and the potential for it to crit is it's going to be much more devastating against attack teams because they haven't got much defensive stats than it is going to be against a defense team who's going to be very, very defensive. You know, they're going to have huge amounts of defense that he's going to have to attack, and he's not really going to do much there. But against an attack team, it could be much more useful. Really strange the way lightning reflexes work. They might revisit that. I think the potential of weapon effects happening with lightning reflex would obviously make that much better specialist skill. And hopefully that is something that could be implemented with that in the future. Just like they changed Outlast, just like they changed Collateral. They made small tweaks. With Outlast, you gained 100% AP when you got killed, so you'd always rush unless you were controlled. So there are definitely some things they can do here, and I think Lightning Reflexes could just have a small tweak where the weapon actually could take place, and that would actually make it, like I said, much more powerful. But that's me claiming Marlon. Some basic mod ideas. Obviously, it's just very basic mod ideas. You can come up with whatever ones. You can make him ultra defensive. That definitely isn't a bad way to go. I just wanted to see how it would be with the crit and the crit multiplier, and it didn't seem too bad. When he was hitting crits, it was actually pretty decent damage, even against defensive characters. But I'm not really sure that's the way to go in the future. I'll have to tweak it a little bit. We'll see. But it could be a lot of fun, and I do think where he's going to come into his own will be Faction Assault. He's going to be great against one target bosses, that sort of thing. And if anything ever comes into the game in the future where it's like a single target boss style thing, which a lot of other games do have in PvE, then he could be very, very useful there. But do tell me if you've claimed Marlon and Rosie. I hope this video is helpful in any way. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.